All right, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to our show. I'm your co-host, Stephen Norris with Keller Williams Realty, and as always, my co-host, Michael Dye with Megastar Financial. Michael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Stephen. How about yourself?
I know you cannot complain at all. There's a little bit of crazy weather over the last couple of days, all this, freak rain, and we got caught in some hail. But I mean, overall, that was fantastic couple of days. Great weather. I'm looking forward to the fourth happening in a couple of days here. So, guys, with that being said, I'm sure everybody has a bunch of fun plans, which we definitely want to hear about. So if you have some fun plans, drop in the comments below. But today we are here to talk about your student loans as a student and as a parent, and what that actually means when either one of you are looking to potentially buy your next house. And so, with that being said, if you missed our other video that we did about that when we talked about the first piece of the financing side, I'll drop it in the description below. So check that out, guys. So with that being said, Michael, talk to us a little bit about whether or not you are a freshman in college or just a graduating senior, or you're a parent of one of those two age groups, and some of the things that the folks should know to position themselves properly when they're looking to buy their next house.
Well, when we're dealing with students on the lending side, Stephen, what we see a lot of the time is people don't really have a lot of their debt set. Some of them are still in school, and your school debt is being deferred at that time, right? But after school and when your loans are set, as a lender, we're looking at using 1% of that, or what's on your credit report, or if you've started making some payments or finalized some of your school loans, we'll go ahead and use what the statement says if it's less than the 1%. So really that 1% debt is a pretty big deal. The other thing that they try to tell us is that we would need to figure out what that payment would be or whatever your school debt is and amortize it over a 30-year period to really figure out that payment, which is a really kind of complicated math formula that usually ends up being more than the 1% is what we see most of the time.
Yeah, guys, that
So
interest absolutely is crippling sometimes.
yeah, and that's what we end up seeing is that a lot of students, they're getting done with school or they're working, and that school debt is really putting them in a position where it's really messing with their debt to income, or you'll hear a lender call it DTI. And that's really not giving them the ability to go ahead and purchase a home because they have too much debt at that time.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing, too, to remember. And if you are a parent, listen close to what I'm about to say, all right? Michael, could you explain to the parents out there right now what are the kind of stipulations that they should be aware of when they are co-signing loans for their kids if they're wanting to buy a home soon after that?
Well, you know what? We have a really cool loan program here at Megastar, and it's called our roommate program. And it's
Mhm.
really unusual. And it doesn't have to be a parent. It could be a lot of times in college. I mean, most of us had roommates. At least I know I did through
Yeah.
most of college, right? And some of them are still some of my best and closest friends today.
Mhm.
And when we all kind of started in our careers and started doing things, and we all would talk about how difficult it is right now to go ahead and afford a home. We didn't have that back when I went to school. Literally, if you were in college, your student loans were still deferred, so they didn't really count that debt against us. But today, they do. So what we have here is our roommate program, which is a really neat product to where it's based off the Home Ready product. So it's based off 3%. You're using 80% of the median income of the area. In the Denver metro area, Stephen, that's 74,200 right now. So if you're making less than that, then you qualify for this Home Ready program that allows you to put 3% down, and it could be all gifted funds from your parents or a blood relative. And then if you're looking to buy, and we know in our market today that there's so much competition and low inventory that it's kind of hard to find a low priced home. But if one of your roommates are still going to be sticking around and working in the same area with you, we'll go ahead and use the full lease amount of that roommate that's in that house, as long as there's a room to rent. So literally, we could be looking at seeing what rental of a room would be, or a full downstairs, and we can provide comps with that, and add up to the 30% of the borrower's income on that. Can't be over that, but so we can really push that up there and make them be able to qualify for a little bit more home. So they can actually really start building equity and live in a good part of the town.
I love that. And I know that was a lot of numbers and conversation right there. So let me break that down for you guys really quick in some bullet points. If you have someone that you want to live with, you're able to use a portion of the rent that they will be paying for you in the future to help qualify additionally for your house. All right. That's kind of what that means in a very general sense. But for obviously,
we're using the full lease, which usually on the home ready, if you've been rooming with someone in the past, we're only allowed to use 30% of that. So that's a big, that's 70% more income that we're adding to that program. And, it's what we're seeing more and more is that, people are staying in their homes together and families are living together. And this doesn't lock them down onto that title and to that house until maybe they're ready to go ahead and go buy a home wherever, or start their family whenever they're ready.
Yeah, that's a very, very powerful program. That's actually pretty darn unique to Megastar. And that's one of the things that make them, so incredible, honestly, as a lender. So guys, if you have someone that you're really looking to room with, make sure that you guys call us, please, to get some more details on those programs, which we will also drop a couple of more details and bullet points of information in the description when we are linking to this video. But, one of the reasons why it's so powerful is because when it comes to your folks and they're co-signing some loans, what they may not know actually is that actual will go onto their credit report for up to 3 years. Now, obviously, everyone's going to be different when they're looking at it from a status if you're a lender, all right? So please make sure that you call Michael to get the full details, all right? And, the reason why we bring all this up is because debt is one of the most crippling things for parents and students who are going into college or just coming out of college. And so even for myself personally, I graduated with over $77,000 worth of debt. And personally, I had zero way of effectively paying it off. And after having one conversation, with Michael, I was able to actually learn a program that they have as well that actually helps me eliminate, not just kind of kick the can down the road, if you will, but I'm on a program right now where I am 100% eliminating every nickel of my personal student loans in under 5 years. And, we have a ton more success stories. We had this young gentleman, construction major, $57,000. He was paying off in 27 years. We're helping him now pay it off in under 3.5 years. We had another college student who was a dental hygienist student, which, if you know, that is a very big ticket to write. $342,000 worth of student loans that this gal had, and she's been paying off for 30 years. Just imagine that, guys. 342. That's a small house. That is a nice size house, honestly. And she's been paying off for 30 years. One conversation with myself and Michael, and now we're helping her pay every nickel off in 7 years. She is 100% debt free in 7 years, guys. And when you have that kind of planning put in place for your life, it's absolutely life changing, to say the least. And for me, that was one of the biggest things graduating, was that I just could not see the light at the end of the tunnel for paying off my student loans. I didn't really know how they worked, but now that I have the education and the knowledge, it's absolutely been life-changing for me, to say the least. And, with that kind of being said, Michael, what are some of the things that the parents and the freshmen going in the graduating senior class of this year's, what are some of the bullet points that, you're a father, what are some of the things that they should be looking out for and the questions that they should be asking themselves?
Well, as far as the parents really asking themselves, is really trying to find out, what kind of living your child is doing, right? And where you're putting them. And of course, going along with that, I would think about what you're going to school for and what that costs and what your goals, what your kiddos' goals are. You guys can start being prepared for that. And that's where, Stephen, that's where we can start even talking to them earlier and start putting in
Mhm.
that plan that you had mentioned. We can start putting in that plan to go ahead and start having them start eliminating that debt a lot sooner instead of waiting to the very end that they graduate. They
Mhm.
can actually start that while their son or daughter is still in school.
Yeah. And guys, just so you know as well, we do these talk shows every single Monday, but additionally, we also host these classes for high schools, the freshman classes, the sophomore, junior, graduating senior classes. So, we'll share some of those links with you guys that you can either just hop on and listen to us or just, see the kind of content that we put out there because, we want you guys to be able to have just very simple a plan put in place for yourselves and for your folks too, just so that you guys can see the light at the end of that tunnel. That's just the hardest thing is just you don't really know what you don't know.
That's right. Knowledge is power, Stephen. You know that. So the
Oh,
more
absolutely.
that we know, the better and more informed decisions that everyone can make.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I love that. Well, guys, I can't think of a better way to wrap it all up and tie it together, but besides just saying call us with any questions and have a very happy 4th of July, Michael.
Have a great 4th of July, everyone. Please tune in next week, and we look forward to talking to you some more.
All right. Bye, guys.